Hi, this is Pete Gary with the Boca Voice, and welcome to Fact or Fiction Friday. So our friends over at the Boca Watch decided to do a piece on Robert Weinroth and talked about his starting his campaign for 2018 and alluding to that he did something wrong. Well, Robert Weinroth did nothing wrong. He did everything right, actually, and he just started his campaign and he did the right filing in June 1st, as he's supposed to. But once again, Mr. Zuccaro decided to make something evil of something that he did, which was right. So what Robert Weinroth is supposed to do is he's supposed to file his intent to run for his candidacy, which he could do actually the day after he started. He won his campaign the last time. Anybody can do it. Once you win your campaign, you can start your re-election campaign the day after. You just have to file with the city clerk's office, and then you can start rerunning your campaign the next time as long as you file it. Now, you don't have to make a fanfare about it. You just have to file, and then you have to file the appropriate reports with the city, which he has done so. And he's actually, the reason why Al got the report is because he filed it correctly. So Al writing it and doing what he's done, he's just, again, creating rhetoric where rhetoric doesn't exist. Now, he's added a lot of people to this list, including myself, and I definitely gave money to Robert. I wish I could give more, but it's the limit that you can give Robert, and why wouldn't I? Robert has done a lot of great things for the city. He's at every event that's out in the city, showing that he supports the city throughout the city. He also takes every vote very seriously. He does a lot of research into each one of the projects that we have, as well as every one of the code enforcements that we have, anything that's going on in the city, any one of the projects, as well as each one of the ordinances that we need to take a look at. He takes Boca Raton very seriously. Him and his family have lived in Boca Raton for a long time. He has a lot of support, and he believes in community and community values, which is why he spends so much time throughout the community. Now, Al, on the other hand, seems to want to tear down the community. He takes every opportunity to look at community members. He did it in the last campaign when he ran against the mayor. He took two community leaders, the Batmasians, and he took the opportunity to take shots at them and completely destroyed and tried to destroy their reputation in this town unnecessarily and without any regard for their reputation. Now he's taking shots at Mark Bell. If you look at, he has no developments out running, yet he's making insinuations that Mark Bell is out there running developments in town. He's not doing that. Now he's going to make insinuations about them. I mean, this is just absolutely ludicrous. And again, when you look at the things that he does to try to create sensationalism in his journalism, it just isn't. It's just ridiculous. So let's get back to the facts. Robert is doing exactly what he should be doing. He's out there creating a war chest for his actual campaign. There's two seats open. It's Robert Weinroth's seat and Jeremy Rogers' seat. There's two open seats. Most likely there's going to be campaigns opening. People are going to run against them. They're going to be running against them. But we want to make sure that whatever we do, we're going to have clean and honest campaigns and debates about those seats. We do want to make sure that whoever's going to run for these races, we go about in a fair way. We want to make sure that we listen to what the candidates have to say and they have their messages heard. Let's have honest debate. Let's not talk about rhetoric. Let's talk about issues. You know, lately when we talk about all of the things that are about Boca Raton, we listen to the things that people want to hear about. Rather than talking about rhetoric, let's talk about real issues and let's come up with solutions. Because if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And all Al seems to do is point fingers at other people rather than try to come up with solutions to fix the problem. And I'd much rather come up with solutions to fix problems than trying to point out to more problems. We have a lot of good things to talk about. Our city is a global city now. We have so many things going on. we have developed an incredible walkable downtown. You may believe it, you may not believe it. But now that I go downtown, and I've been downtown and walking around, going from Louis Bossi over to Frankendino's, into Casa D'Angelo, and over to Meisner Park, you're no longer stuck in just Meisner Park to walk around to place. Now you can walk from Meisner Park through Sanborn Square. I just happened to be over at Sanborn Square this weekend and watched the Boca Burger battle and had a lot of fun there, and then walked over afterwards over to Louis Bossi and had a great cocktail there, and then walked over to Frankendino's for dinner afterwards. It was a great opportunity to enjoy our downtown. All of that wouldn't have been possible if we listened to Al Zuccaro and all the things that he is spreading about our downtown. So can we get through the rhetoric and have a real conversation about what's happening? Now, back to the article. If we look at what really we're talking about here, he's trying to spread another rumor and just a hate article about what's happening. The fact is, what he left out in that article is that he actually picked up the phone and he called Robert Weinroth. I talked to Robert Weinroth just before I got on air. And I asked him, I said, did Al Zuccaro actually call you? And he said, yeah, actually, Al called me and he asked me if I was running. And I told Al that I was running for City Council for re-election. But do you notice that Al didn't put that in the article? So why is that? Why did he not take the time to put that in the article? So he makes a lot of insinuations and he doesn't put the facts in the article. Journalism is all about telling the sole story, not just the portion of the story that you want to tell. The people have the right to have all of the facts so they can draw their conclusions based upon the things that they want to draw from the story, not drawing the conclusions that you want them to tell. That's the problem we have today in today's journalism. And we hear about it today in mainstream media when, you know, all of the media has been telling us, right? They only want us to find out what they want us to tell. That's a story after story after story. We have to filter out what we want to gather from it. Locally, why don't we rise above that? I've taken a lot of pride at the Boca Voice to make sure that you get the real story and you get a variety of it. Now that we have Andy Thompson out trying to get all of the traffic from all over town, telling you really what's happening around it, rather than just pointing fingers at, hey, there's a traffic problem. What are we doing? We're actually going around to different areas in town and trying to find out what's going on about traffic. We're not just pointing a finger and saying, hey, look, there's no traffic or there's traffic here. We're literally trying to find solutions for this town. That's how you fix it. You don't just point a finger and say there's a problem and there's where your issue is. You figure out where the problem is and you come up with solutions. I promise you, without any reservation whatsoever, pointing a finger at somebody that's doing the right things and trying to make them evil isn't the issue. We need to rise above this. When we live in such a beautiful place as Boca Raton, and we try to make it ugly by throwing dirt at people that are such great people like Robert and Pam Weinroth, it really lowers our sense of being. It lowers our city. It lowers who we are. Let's rise above that. Let's make us better people. Let's get beyond that. We don't need to sit in the mud. We need to be better than that. We need to be better people. I ask you, all of the residents of Boca Raton, let's get behind us and let's be better people. Let's start to listen to who we are and be part of the community, because that's what Boca Raton is. Boca Raton's all about community. It's all about being about better people and being about a part of a better community. And our city's on fire, it really is. It's growing to such great places, from FAU and Lynn University to the phenomenal programs that we have going on all over the place, and the Mandarin Oriental coming to Boca Raton, to the great things happening over at the resort, to Louis Bossi being right at the epicenter of downtown, to Ouzo Bay opening up directly in Meisner Park and centering, to all of the other things happening. And we just had a phenomenal opportunity to talk about all the waterfront happenings that we had over at the library. When you look at all of that happening, how can we sit back and then talk about negativity when you look at all of the great things happening in Boca Raton. Everybody wants to come here. A lot of people, when you look at how many people love to vacation here, and we live here every day. Thank you once again for following us on the Boca Voice and Fact or Fiction Friday. Don't forget to follow us online on Facebook and on Twitter. We look forward to seeing you again next week.